Beautiful people, let's make sure my mic is working. Yes. Okay. We got a few things we got to do real quick. We got to drop some notifications, of course. We are live. Let the Discord know. Let's see who's going to get first in the chat today. Always, always interesting to see. Pull that up. Looks like Brian's going to get first in the chat today. What's up, Brian? Pull comments up on my end. I know we haven't streamed in a couple days, guys. I realize that. I got really sick. I got really freaking sick. I woke up. What was it? Yesterday, the day before. I don't even know. I've lost track at this point. But I woke up a few days ago, man, and my stomach. There was just something going on with my stomach, and it was quite horrible. I'll be honest with you. It was quite horrible. So I spent all day that day in pretty excruciating pain. Finally, it started to calm down, and then I slept for like 16 hours. Today, I started to try to eat a little bit because I haven't eaten in a while. I started to try to eat a little bit, and I'm not quite 100% just yet, but I'm just very weak, right? I'm just very weak, but I feel a lot better. I'm just very weak, but I feel a lot better. But it's been 2 days, I believe, since our last stream, so I was like, you know what? We gotta do a stream today. We gotta push through. We gotta do a stream today. Sanchez, my dude, what's up, man? Style alert. Hi, Wonder Bro. How are you doing? Well, there was my little update. Yo, what's up? What's good, Wonder Bro? What's up, Guru? What's up, Mike? What's up, Kate? What's up, Teresa? Me and Sanchez always so close to being first. It's a constant race between you two, man. Sometimes he gets it, sometimes you get it. It's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. Yeah, so my energy levels might be a little on the low side today. It might be on a little on the low side today. I'm not quite 100% just yet, okay? But I feel well enough to knock out a stream, so we're gonna do a stream. What are we going to be talking about, chat? What are we going to be talking about today? Anxiety recovery. Stop trying to escape or avoid the way you feel. All of this, right? All of this comes back to trying to escape or avoid the way you feel. Whether you get these thoughts or you get these anxious symptoms, and then up in your head you're trying to fight with that. You're trying to get away from that. You're trying to avoid that. You don't want to feel that. You don't want to go there. You're afraid to go there. You're afraid of what it could turn into. You're afraid of all this crap, right? So you're trying your best to avoid or escape the way that you feel or might feel, with these what ifs and all this, that, and the other. In some way or another, you are trying to avoid or escape the way that you feel or might feel, and this leads to this constant stress, this constant avoidance, this constant almost looking over your shoulder 24 hours a day, right? With trying to avoid or escape the way you feel comes this almost constant second fear, worrying about the way that you feel or the thoughts that you're having, right? Ginger tea, I might have to give that a go, man. I might have to give that a go. Like I said, I didn't eat for like 2 days. There was no way I could have ate. There was no way feeling the way that I felt that I could have ate. So I didn't eat for like 2 days. But today I woke up after sleeping like 16 hours or something. Um, had some Gatorade, then had some Powerade. Try to stay hydrated. I ate a little bit. I ate a little bit earlier, so we're getting there. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. I'm trying to take it easy. I don't want to push it. I don't want to push it and jump straight back into it too hard. So let's see. Make sure my phone is on silent because we are about to jump into this stream in just a second, guys. We are about to jump into it in just a second. This is going to be a good one. I can feel it. I can feel it. Wonder Bro is in the house. What's up, Hank? How you been, dude? Welcome. Welcome. Let's see. Where are we sitting at in chat right now? What are we sitting at? What are we sitting at here? Okay. Chat's starting to fill up. Chat's starting to fill up. We'll give it another second or two and then we'll get rolling. Let's see. In the meantime, let's go ahead and drop the link to the Discord server in case anybody wants to join us over there. Drop that in chat right there. There we go. We are at record pace, guys. We are on a 16-day streak. That is insane. Record pace on the streaks. This is as high as we've ever been. You should see the link to the Discord. There we go. Okay, I think that's everything. I think that's everything covered. Let's go ahead and get started. So, what we are talking about today, guys, anxiety recovery. Stop trying to escape or avoid the way that you feel. Now, with recovery, with tired nerves, with anxiety, this all comes back to, in one way or another, right? This all comes back to, in one way or another, you trying to avoid, okay, trying to avoid or escape the way that you feel. Now, what I mean by that is, as you sit around with this tired nervous system, okay, and with a tired nervous system comes anxious physical feelings, it comes negative intrusive thoughts. What you try to do is you try to get involved so that you can avoid feeling this way. You try to get involved so that you can avoid possibly feeling this way in the future, right? You try getting involved so that you can escape the way that you currently feel. In one way or another, this all comes back to some sort of resistance that leads to you trying to escape or avoid the way that you feel or might feel in the future. So you're constantly sitting around involved, right? Constantly sitting around involved. I don't want to feel the way that I currently feel, or I don't want to feel this in the future. One way or another, or both. I'm trying to escape or avoid the way that I feel. Now, the problem with that is your involvement doesn't actually get you anywhere. So there's several problems with that. The biggest problem being your involvement doesn't actually get you anywhere. In fact, it keeps you where you are. In fact, it keeps you where you are. Your involvement doesn't actually solve anything, right? Your involvement doesn't actually solve anything. It doesn't actually do anything. In fact, it keeps you where you are, and it continues to send those danger signals to your brain. That's all your involvement does, right? So you start on this journey, okay, and you beat your nerves to a point of sensitization because you are trying to avoid or escape the way that you feel, or avoid or escape the way that you possibly might feel in the future, right? It's all some sort of avoidance or trying to escape. And the reason you're involved is because you don't want to feel these things. You don't want to have these thoughts, okay? But again, it's the biggest waste of time, and it keeps you in the cycle. It is the biggest waste of time, and it keeps you in the cycle. So eventually, with acceptance, the point that we try to get people to is where they can say to themselves, I am willing to feel what I feel. As far as anxiety is concerned, I am willing to feel what I feel, and I'm willing to have the thoughts that I have. And instead of trying to get involved to escape or avoid these feelings now or in the future, I'm just willing to roll with it. I'm willing to go with it, whatever that might be, whatever might come, might come. I'm willing to be here for it, right? So when we get to that point, when we get people to that point by practicing acceptance, what happens is the nerves can finally catch a break. You're not constantly going around sending out these 24-hour danger signals back to your amygdala, right? That part of your brain responsible for anxiety. You're not constantly going around by trying to avoid and escape, sending out these danger signals. Finally, the nerves can catch a break. So now comes the big question. Well, Wonder Bro, that makes sense. I get it. But how do I go about doing that? How do I practice that? You have got to start switching to the acceptance mindset, right? You have got to start switching to the acceptance mindset, which takes a lot of effort because automatically you're going to want to go the worry mindset. That's what you've done for so long, probably years and years. Even this is important to point out. Even before you became sensitized, you were probably a worrier. Who can agree with that? Even how did you get that toy? Even I thought I put that up. Even before you became sensitized, you were probably a worrier. How many people can agree with that? How many people in the chat can say, yes, you're right, I was a worrier even before I was sensitized. I was a control freak even before I was sensitized, right? How many people can agree with that? Show of hands. Probably quite a few. Right? So when we tell people, okay, the way out of the anxiety cycle is to stop trying to escape or avoid and just be willing to feel what you feel and have the thoughts that you have, right? When we tell people that, the reason it's not straight to the point, okay, I got it, off to the races, see you later, thanks for the advice, I'm good. The reason it's not that simple is because before you even became sensitized, you were probably a worrier. You were probably a control freak. We all share those traits, right? We all share those traits. That's the reason it's not so simple. That's the reason when I tell people, okay, if you want to stop beating your nerves up, you have to switch to an accepting mindset. Be willing to feel your feelings. Have your thoughts. Simple as that. The reason people can't hear that and just go off to the races with that is because at that point, once you get the advice and you understand how the cycle works, which most of you do already, at that point, there still comes practice. And the reason there still comes practice is because you have these traits. You have these traits. You're a control freak. Sorry, but not sorry. You're a control freak. You're a worrier. The list goes on and on. So the advice is super simple and straightforward. The cycle is very easy to understand, but you still have to do a lot of practice because you're trying to break these habits that you've probably had your entire life. And that's why it's not just off to the races as soon as you hear the very simple advice. That's why it takes work. That's why it takes consistency. That's why it takes effort. Because these habits almost happen, they feel like they happen automatically. How many people can agree with that? When you have these anxious feelings or you have these anxious thoughts, it's almost automatically that you start to worry, right? I know that it feels almost automatic, and that's why it's not as simple as it looks, because these habits are so strong and they happen what feels to be almost automatically, right? And that's why it's not so simple. That's why it's not, let me set you guys down, tell you the deal, and then you're off to the races. End of story, right? That's why it's not so simple. So you've got the advice. You've got the advice. I'm gonna let her pass. Hold on for a moment. Let her get it out of her system. I thought I took that squeaky toy. I thought for sure I took that. Okay, yeah, now I got it. Now I got it. Sorry, Nova. I'll give it back to you after the stream. It's just really loud. I can't. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So that's why it's not as simple as sitting people down and saying, look, here's how simple the advice is. Here's how simple the cycle is. Here's why it works the way it works. And then people say, okay, Wonder Bro, I'm off to the races. I have no problems anymore. You're telling me to accept the way I feel, to accept my thoughts, to accept my feelings. Okay, drop the worry and just be willing to feel what I feel and have the thoughts what I have. Simple as that, Wonder Bro. I'm off to the races. It's not that simple because you've got years and years of these habits to break, right? And that's not saying that it's going to take years and years for you to break them, but it is saying that you got to meet me in the middle here. You got to understand that you've probably had these habits your entire life, right? And that's why it's not as simple as it sounds. Because that worry habit is almost automatic. You start to have these feelings, you start to have these thoughts, and then it's off to the worry habit before you even realize it sometimes. And that's why we say, it's not about, okay, I'll never worry another day again in my life. It's not about, okay, I'll never add worry another day in my life. No, it's about catching it. We're not telling you that you have to be perfect, never add worry again in your life, but you do got to catch it. And that's where the work comes into play. That's where the practice comes into play. So what does this all come back to, right? What does this all come back to at the end of the day? It all comes back to this. Anxiety is a cycle of you trying to avoid or escape the way that you feel because you're worried about the way that you feel or the thoughts that you have. In order to break out of that cycle, which is keeping your nerves stressed, sending those danger signals, you have to switch to a mindset of, I want to feel this way, I'm willing to feel this way, I'm going to feel these feelings, I'm going to have these thoughts, right? And that requires a lot of effort of you catching the worry habit in the moment, of you catching the worry habit. And you're going to have to do this quite a bit, right? We catch the worry habit, we change it into the accepting mindset. That's where the practice comes into play. That's where the practice comes into play. That's where the effort comes into play, right? And that's why it's not as simple as sitting people down, giving them the facts, and then that's it. They're off to the races. They've got to then put in the practice. They've got to then put in the effort after that, right? Right? My dizzy is 24/7, doesn't pass, and then my worry gets more symptoms going. How do I do that? Help, guys, I'm messing up bad. You got to pull yourself back. You got to pull yourself back. You realize the facts. You know the facts now. You've been here long enough to know the facts, right? You've been here long enough to know the facts. You've been here long enough. I'm going to put you in a headlock if you don't go that way. Thank you. Jesus Christ. You've been here long enough now to know the facts, right? You know how the cycle works. You know how the brain works. I will give you the toy afterwards. You know how the brain works. You know how the cycle works. You've got to pull yourself back at this point and hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself responsible. Right? That's all this comes down to. A lot of people do not hold themselves accountable. They do not hold themselves responsible. So what happens is, as you wake up every single day, and let's say you've got some dizziness going on, you've got some symptoms of dizziness going on, you wake up every single day and you tell yourself, I do not want to feel this way today. You tell yourself, this is going to be horrible. I do not want to feel this way today. This is horrible. I don't want to feel this. And as you do that, you keep yourself in the cycle, right? And if there's nobody holding you accountable for that, if you're not holding yourself accountable for that, then the cycle continues, right? The cycle continues, the cycle goes on, the cycle moves on. So somebody at some point has to hold you accountable for that, and it has to be yourself, right? It has to be yourself. So this all comes back to some sort of avoidance, some sort of, I don't want to feel the way I feel, I don't want to have the thoughts I have, I'm not willing to feel the way I feel or have the thoughts I have. We got to get you willing. We got to get you willing. We got to get you to the point where you look at these thoughts and feelings as something that you're willing to experience instead of something that you're always trying to escape and avoid, right? That's the point that we got to get you to get you out of this cycle. So that was my main point of today's stream, guys. I'm going to give Nova her squeaky toy back because she is like really, really wanting it. So I'm gonna give her that back. That was the main point of today's stream, guys. We've got to get you to the point where you're willing to feel the way that you feel and have the thoughts that you have. Because as long as you go around worrying about them, right, which is just a habit, as long as you go around doing that, you're in the cycle. So that was the main point of today's stream, guys. We're going to switch on over to the post stream. Like I said, I gave Nova her squeaky toy back because she was dying for it. So you might have to deal with listening to that in the background a little bit. She'll get bored of it. She'll get bored of it in a minute. Um, let's see. I agree with you, Lewis. Does this apply to life stressors? For example, my husband pissed the shit out of me earlier. Pissed the shit out of you. Interesting. My husband pissed the shit out of me earlier, and I started feeling dizzy and tightness in chest. I just laughed it off and it went away. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. Real life stressors or, something caused this or something caused that. You either take action, and there's normally not action you can take because if there was, you've already taken it. But whether we're talking about real life issues or not, you got to break out of the worry cycle at some point. Whether we're talking about real life issues or not real life issues, you can take action if it's real life issues. Most of the time, there's not action you can take. Either way, though, the worry cycle has to be broken because the way the game is played never changes. If you continue to worry, you continue to send danger signals, and that'll be true for the remainder of time, right? Well, that's just how the brain works. Whether we're talking about real life issues or not real life issues, that's the way the brain works, regardless. So either way it goes, real life issue, not a real life issue, you know, we got to break out of the cycle. Teresa, thank you so much. Teresa with a $10 tip says, thanks as always. Ugh, I need to accept. So instead of going around saying, ugh, I need to accept, let's get you into a habit of going around and saying, I do accept. Now, might not believe those words, right? You might not believe those words when you hear them, but that's the attitude that we got to get you to practice, right? That's the attitude that we got to get you to practice. All right, let's see here. Thank you again, by the way, for the $10 tip. We are on record pace here, man. We are on a 16-day streak. Like I said, this is the highest streak we've ever achieved here on the channel, so exciting stuff. I appreciate it, guys. Yes, Sanchez, as you can tell, dude, she is crazy over her toy, man. She is crazy over her toy. My army medic bud always said, eat a plain baked potato with a little butter only to help digestive issues, make your stomach feel better, bro. The stomach itself feels okay right now. It feels okay right now. Like I'm not having any real pain anymore. I'm just really tired. I'm just really tired and weak. My body was just like going through a lot there for a minute, so I'm just trying to recover from it all, if that makes sense. I do live in my mind a lot. A lot of people do, always worried about the way that they feel or the thoughts they're having, right? We've got to get you to a practice, a mindset of whatever's going to come is going to come. And you might not believe those words when you speak them at first. This is so important, guys. So many people don't practice the advice because they give me the excuse, well, Wonder Bro, when I notice that I'm worrying and I say, okay, you know what, it is what it is, I don't seem to believe those words. Stop making that excuse. You still practice that attitude anyway. You might not have the most faith. You see where I'm coming from, guys? You might not have the most faith, but that's an excuse. So you say, well, Wonder Bro, I catch my worry and I turn it into, it is what it is. I'm willing to feel this. I do all that, but then I don't believe those words. Okay, well, we're not asking you to believe those words. We're asking you to practice that mindset. We're not telling you that you have to come into it with the most confidence in the world, right? Or the most faith in the world. You get what I'm saying? You're still practicing that mindset regardless because it's a hell of a lot better than going the worry route. And as long as you go the worry route and you're not making any effort to break that habit, then you stay in the cycle. Right? Does that make sense? You see what we're saying here? Hey, Pooty, man, thank you so much for the $50 tip, dude. Oh, man, fuck, I appreciate that. That helps a ton. That helps a ton. Thank you so much, Pooty, man. I appreciate that. We're moving on to a 17-day streak, guys. Thank you so much, Pooty. Can we give a huge shout out, man? Huge shout out in the chat to Teresa and Pooty. That helps me a lot, guys. A lot. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I think we're caught up. I think we're good. I think that's everybody. Teresa and Pooty, man, show them some love. Let's see. Let's see. I know I missed some comments. I'm not as sharp today, guys. I'm not as sharp as I normally am. today just because like I said, I'm recovering from that stomach bug or whatever it was. So I'm not quite on the ball like I normally am. I'm a little slow today. Yeah, I was having some stomach issues too. Yeah. On my way to Vegas. Nice, Brian. I hope you enjoy it, dude. Have a good time, man. Hey, you know what we say, Pooty? Practice makes perfect, dude. And you know what we've been telling you here recently is that no matter what it throws at you, you know your one job, right? That's another thing, too, guys. No matter what anxiety kind of throws at you, you know what your one job is. You know that worry equals danger signals. And that's all you need to know. You need to stop digging any deeper than that, right? There's really no need to dig any deeper than that. We got to get you practicing the accepting mindset regardless of how you feel or how much faith you have or how much confidence. All of that stuff's kind of irrelevant. That stuff comes as you practice. You don't go into the practice already having the most confidence in the world. You don't go into the practice already having the most faith in the world. This stuff kind of develops naturally as you practice, right? So you can't use not having those things as an excuse to not practice the accepting mindset, as an excuse to not practice spotting the worry and turning it into the accepting mindset, right? You can't use any of that excuse because we're telling you, you need to practice this regardless of how much faith you have or how much confidence you have, or maybe you practice it and you don't feel instantly better. Okay, well, you're probably not going to feel instantly better. So you can't use any of that stuff as an excuse. You still do the practice regardless of any of that, right? There can be no exceptions. There can be no excuses. We know how the brain works. We know how the cycle works. We can't start pulling up all these excuses as to why we're not practicing the accepting mindset, right? How to practice that mindset, I always forget it. It's simple. It's really simple. You do the opposite of worry. So let's say you get a feeling and then a thought pops up, oh, I might go crazy. You turn that into, if I do, I do, right? That's just one of many examples. You can use whatever you want to use. One of many examples, just do the opposite of worry. Now, you might tremble and shake while you're doing the opposite of worry. That's okay. You're still doing your one job anyway, right? There's no way around it. There's no excuses as to why you can't use it. You just use it anyway, regardless of all the reasons why you think you can't use it. You use it anyway, right? You use it anyway. It's about practicing being willing to feel the way that you feel and have the thoughts that you have. That's what it is at the end of the day. And like I said, I keep using the word practice because it is a practice. It absolutely 110% is a practice. You gotta, and again, we're not telling anybody that they got to be perfect, but you do have to be on the ball. You do have to catch that worry while it's happening. While you're adding that worry to the way that you feel, you got to catch it and turn it into acceptance. And you might have to rinse and repeat that, rinse and repeat that, rinse and repeat that, but you do it. You do it because you know that you have to. You do it because you know that's your job, right? That's why you do it, not for any other reason. You do it because you know how the brain works now. You do it because you know that's your job. So you got to get out in front of it. You got to catch that worry as often as you can. You start to notice yourself automatically out of that bad habit of worry. Start to worry about the way that you feel, or start to worry about a thought that you had, and whatever thought, feeling, thought, whatever. You got to put in the work of spotting that and turning that into the opposite of worry, even if you don't believe it. That's still your one job, and you got to do that regardless, right? You got to focus on your one job, and you got to get your one job done. And again, that doesn't mean you have to be perfect, because you're all humans, guys, right? But it does mean that you got to put the effort in, as much as possible, as much as possible. And somebody's got to hold you accountable for that. So you need to hold yourself accountable for that, right? You got to hold yourself accountable. If nobody's holding you accountable, you got to hold yourself accountable at least. Should I get checked up on? I can't make that decision for you, right? I can't make that decision for you. I would never in a million years tell somebody whether or not they should go to the doctor if it's something that they're wanting to do. You couldn't pay me enough to tell somebody whether or not they should go to the doctor, and that's kind of the a difficult situation to be put in when someone asks you, hey, should I go to the doctor, or is that just a coping method? Well, I can't really tell you. I'm not going to tell you no, and I'm not going to tell you yes. When it comes to going to see a doctor, that's really your choice to make. You have to figure that out. And I wish I could give you a different answer other than that, but you can see how that kind of puts me in a bit of a bind when I get asked that question. You can understand that, right? I wish I could answer that for you, but I can't. So, let's see. I know I've missed some comments. Like I said, I'm not as sharp as I normally am today, guys. I am in recovery from that stomach bug or whatever it is that I had. So I'm not quite 100% all there yet. Let's see. Let's play our song though. We haven't played our song today, man. Let's play our song. You know we got to listen to it at least once. Why is my desktop audio? Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so you already know your own problem, Teresa. You've already answered that question for yourself. You're obviously very intelligent. You're obviously very self-aware. You didn't even need me to answer that one for you. You already know. So now you really don't have an excuse. You told on yourself. You told on yourself there. Well, that's the thing, Brian. You know, you say, what if you don't have the motivation? I can try to motivate you guys, and I do. I do try my best to motivate you guys. I do try my best to encourage you guys. But at the end of the day, motivation is something that I can give, you know, when I can. But at the end of the day, you can't really teach how to make somebody want to continue on with their new habits, their new good habits, right? You can't really force someone to do that. You can't really teach someone how to stay on board. You can try to encourage them and motivate them, which I try to do, but at the end of the day, that's just something you got to do for yourself. You got to want it, right? And unfortunately, making somebody want it is not something that you can teach. It's just there's just going to have to come a point where you want it, right? And you want it enough to do it, right? So you can't really teach someone how to want it, and you can try to encourage people and motivate people, but you can't really force them. So it's just something that hopefully over time you'll continue to dedicate, you'll continue to get that motivation for yourself going. I think you're doing good though. I think you're doing good. You've obviously made a ton of progress. Most of you have made a ton of progress. You know, and there's been a lot of recovered people here. We get people every stream almost that comes in talking about how their life's completely changed. And the only difference between those people and, you know, those of you that are still kind of struggling a bit is time, man. Time and practice. That's it. Time and practice. Time and practice, man. That's what it comes down to. You got to stay out ahead of that worry habit. You got to catch it no matter how often you got to do it. And it might be exhausting at first, man. It might be because you're going to have to do it often, right? But I mean that's part of breaking a bad habit is that you got to do it often, right? That's a part of breaking a bad habit, man, is that you have to do it often. You have to want it and you have to do it often, and those are two things you can't really teach. I can teach you how to do it. I can give you pointers on how to do it. I can tell you why the brain works the way it does. I can teach you about the cycle. I can give you little hints and tips and you know, but at the end of the day, you've got to do it. I mean, that's all it comes down to. You got to do it. When it hurts like don't beat yourselves up for not being perfect, man. Just stay on board. Stay on board no matter how many times you fall, get back up. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. When it hurts like this. Got to stay out ahead of it, man. It's amazing. There's no other way. When it hurts like this. I always monitor my breathing. It pisses me off. It's like it's there all the time. Well, yeah, your breathing is there all the time, right? Um, it's just a habit. It's a habit. There's no other way to put that. It's a habit. It's a habit, and you got to get out in front of it, and you got to catch it. You got to catch it, and you got to turn it into the accepting attitude. And like I said, sometimes these habits feel almost automatic because you've been doing them for so long. So of course they feel automatic, but that's where the dedication comes into play. And sometimes we don't feel motivated, we don't feel encouraged, we don't feel like putting in the work. But it's what's going to make the difference in the end. And sometimes you got to be your own best friend. You got to say, I want what I want, and I'm going to get it, right? I'm going to get it no matter what I got to do. So sometimes you got to be your own best friend. You got to motivate yourself. I'm not always here, right? And when I'm not, you got to be your own best friend. And that's something that you got to put in that work. So that's something that you got to practice. But stay out ahead of it, man. Stay out ahead of it. Keep putting in that practice, and you'll see for yourself, right? Doesn't mean it'll always be necessarily quote unquote easy, right? But it is possible, and it's possible for anybody if you're willing to do the work. That's what it comes down to. We can talk about how difficult it might be all day long, but the only thing I want you to focus on is that it's possible for anybody as long as you put in the work. We could talk about all the details all day long, but anybody can do it. And then the difference is going to be just whether or not you do it. I'm having many automatic intrusive thoughts also. The ADHD thing, whatever you want to call it, whatever label you want to put on yourself, at the end of the day, when you're sensitized, you're going to have a ton of automatic intrusive thoughts. That's a part of being sensitized. Everybody who's ever been sensitized in their life has dealt with a ton of automatic intrusive thoughts, regardless of whatever else you've got going on in your life, right? So that's a part of being sensitized in itself. Nobody who's ever been sensitized has not had to deal with a lot of automatic intrusive negative thoughts. So the advice remains the same. You got to get out ahead of it. You got to notice when these feelings and thoughts are there. You got to notice and hold yourself accountable on whether or not you're adding worry to these thoughts and feelings, right? That's where using the advice comes to play, and that advice is going to remain the same for anybody and everybody under any anxiety circumstance, right? The advice is not going to change. The advice never changes. I don't think there's ever been a single time where somebody's asked me a question regarding anxiety where I did not come at them with the same advice, right? What's the medical term for nerve sensitization? That is the medical term, sensitization, right? The reason you don't hear that term sensitization being used in the medical field that often is because at the end of the day, people don't really talk about the difference between just anxiety and somebody who's got a full-blown broken down tired nervous system, right? They just kind of throw it all under the anxiety umbrella and throw pills at you. Not many doctors or people in the medical industry understand that there is such a term as sensitization. It's not really recognized all that often, right? So they get somebody who's extremely anxious, they call it anxiety disorder. They don't really look at the fact that the nerves can be extremely tired and we need to heal the nerves. Unfortunately, that's just not that common. Not that having tired nerves is not common. That is common. A lot of people end up sensitized in their lives at one point or another. But it's not common that you hear the term being used. I wish it was more common. But unfortunately, a lot of doctors and stuff like that, they just like to call their patient, oh, he's got anxiety, throw some pills at him. They don't really get into the details about how your nerves can be tired and your nerves can be fragile, and, like Dr. Claire Weeks did, right? So that is the medical term, sensitization. You just don't hear it that often, which is unfortunate, because if more people knew this advice, you would have a lot less suffering in the world. So hopefully the channel continues to grow and we can put a dent in that suffering. But yeah, that is the medical term. You just don't hear it used that often. You got to think, guys, the fact that you're here, you're already way ahead of the game. There's a lot of people out there that are extremely anxious that don't realize that they're dealing with tired nerves. So the fact that you're here means that you're already ahead of the game. And now we got to get you to the point where you're willing to practice everything that I preach. Once we get you to that point, then we're really set. That song is getting stuck in my head. I told you guys I would get it stuck in your head before it was over with. I told you. Yeah, you got it right. Nerve sensitization is basically the result of second fear being applied to anxiety over and over and over and over again until your nerves eventually get so beat up that we consider you to have a tired nervous system. You're right. Yep. Hey, that's awesome, game. Of course, I can't encourage or discourage anybody from wanting to take medication. That's completely personal choice. But I'm glad you found something that worked for you, and I'm glad you're feeling better, dude. That's awesome. You don't. It's about getting out ahead of it, man. You're going to have to catch that worry hundreds and hundreds of times a day, guys. When you start to automatically add worry to your thoughts and feelings, understand that that is your choice. The only reason it feels automatic is because that habit is so strong. But you got to get out ahead of it and put an end to it. That's the thing. That's the thing. You're going to have to do that 100 times a day. That worry habit is so strong and almost so automatic that you're going to have to do this 100 times a day. You're going to have to catch the worry that you're adding to your thoughts and feelings. What is worry? Second fear is just a fancy term for worry. You're going to have to catch that hundreds of times a day and switch it to the accepting attitude, whether you want to or not, if you want to start making some good progress. And you can. It's not as difficult as it sounds. Getting started is usually the most difficult part. It's not as difficult as it sounds, but you got to become self-aware and you got to hold yourself accountable. Those two things are hugely important. You have to become self-aware and you have to hold yourself accountable. Those two things are hugely, hugely important. And that might mean that 100 times a day you've got to be like, oh, there I go again with that, adding that worry to those thoughts and feelings. Okay, I'm going to switch that shit up a bit. You know what? I'm going to switch that to so be it. It is what it is. I'm going to shut that shit down. I might have to turn around and do that 2 minutes later, right? But if you can't come in here and tell me that you're doing that, well, then you found your problem. That's why you're not making as much progress as you'd like to make. Right there. You found your problem. Your problem has been found. Now let's get you on board and let's get you going, man. Because you're capable. You are absolutely fucking capable. Right? Everybody is. Everybody is. And that includes you, Teresa. That includes you. Right? Everybody's capable. But if you can't come in my chat and say, Wonder Bro, the past 2 days, every time I caught my worry, you know, maybe I didn't sometimes because I'm not perfect. I'm a human. But Wonder Bro, 90% of the time, man, I was on it. I was catching. Anytime I started to add worry to my thoughts and feelings, my anxious thoughts and feelings, man, I caught that shit and I turned it into fuck it, accept it, you know. I did that. I've been doing that for the past few days, Wonder Bro. If you can't come in here and say that, okay, well then you found your problem. You have found why you're not making the progress that you want to make. You found your problem. There you go. You found it, right? And now it's just we got to get you on board. Got to get you going. It's a good thing that we found your problem. That's a good thing. But now we got to get you going, right? Got to get you going. Hey, thanks again, guys, so much for the tip goal, man. That's crazy. To think that we're on a 17 a 17 day streak. That came out weird because I had a cigarette in my mouth. To think that we're on a 17-day streak, that's seven. Why can't I say the word 17 today without wanting to add my country twang to it? A 17-day streak is just insane. I never thought we'd actually hit 17 days. When I started the whole streak goal thing long ago, well, it's not been that long ago, I honestly didn't think it was going to last. I was like, you know, we probably won't hit that often. It probably won't go very high, so I might get rid of that. But look at us now, man. Look at us now at 17 days. That's insane. And I just want to let you guys know I'm very appreciative for that. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It truly helps me out a ton, and it helps keep this show on the road. So thank you. I appreciate it. Another huge shout out in the chat to, who was it today? Teresa and Pooty. Thank you guys so much. Stop this gravity bringing me down. Stop this gravity. Hey, despite not being 100% today, man, I hope you guys still enjoyed the stream. Hey, style alert! Style alert coming in with the $10 tip says you have helped me out so much. I'm finally getting back to enjoying my family, my life. That is what I do it for right there. That is exactly what I do it for. It's awesome to hear those words. I'm so glad you're finally getting back to being able to enjoy your family and your life again. Please do yourself a big favor and stay on board. Please do yourself a big favor and continue to put in the work no matter what anxiety throws your way, right? Please continue to do yourself a big favor and keep putting in that dedication. All right? Thank you so much for the $10 tip. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. It says I'm finally getting back to enjoy my family and my life. Love to hear it, and that's why I do what I do. Thank you so much for the $10 tip. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's almost the first. We got some bills coming up, so that helps me. That helps me a ton. Thank you, thank you. Just need discipline. A lot of people, that's all they do need, Brian, right? You're not alone there. A lot of people, they just need that discipline to keep themselves accountable and do it every single time. Catch that worry every single time, you know, as much as you can. Again, you don't have to be perfect, but as much as you can. You're not alone there, Brian. A lot of people do just need that discipline. They've got the advice, they've got the knowledge, they've practiced it a little bit, but now they just need that discipline, right? Thank you. Yes, I will continue to put in the work. I hope you do, because you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve to keep making progress, and I hope you do yourself that favor. Because at the end of the day, what do we always say? Nobody can do it for you, right? Nobody can do it for you. Gravity. 20-day streak is just around the corner. Yes, it is. So close, man. So close. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You have no idea. It means a ton to me, guys. It means a ton to me. Hey, you're working on yourself, Carrie, and that's all that matters. Forget about the irrelevant opinion of people that don't understand. You're working on yourself, right? That's all that matters. Forget about anybody else's opinion that's not in your shoes. Fuck it. What does it matter, right? Don't take too seriously the opinion of other people. They've never walked a day in your shoes. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know what you've been through. Why are you taking their opinion so seriously? Fuck them, right? Fuck them. You're working on yourself, and that's all that matters. And if they had walked a day in your shoes, then maybe they would understand. But the fact of the matter is, they're never going to be able to walk a day in your shoes. So you sitting around and stressing about what they have to say, not worth it. Not worth it. It'll never be worth it. That probably came off as a bit cruel, but I mean, it's true. People that have never walked a day in your shoes, you know, what does their opinion really matter? What does it really matter? It's not like they get it. It's not like they get it. What's it matter? You just continue working on yourself. That's all you need to worry about. I need your love. Not as quiet as I was a week ago. I'm able to concentrate better. You're getting there. You're making progress, and that's what matters. Now you just gotta, Brian mentioned earlier the word discipline. Now we just gotta have that discipline to continue on with the practice. It's not a one and done, right? And if you can grow your discipline, if you can grow your ability to stay on board, that's what's going to make the difference. Time and discipline. Those are two big ones right there. Time and discipline. They are needed. They are needed. But yeah, guys, I hope even though I wasn't 100% today, I hope you guys still enjoyed the stream regardless. I did my best despite feeling a little under the weather, so I hope somebody still takes something from this. I am going to go ahead and shut it down here, though. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here and get back to resting up a bit, and hopefully we'll be able to get back at it soon at 100%. So hope you enjoyed the stream regardless, guys. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for your continued support, man. I love each and every one of you so much. Hold yourself accountable and get on top of things. Hold yourself accountable, man, and get on top of things. One bro, Sanchez. What's up, dude? So I love you guys very, very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much for all of your support, your continued support. There's a lot of different, resources out there on the great World Wide Web for this sort of thing. So I'm very honored that you guys have chosen me as your go-to. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you leave the stream a like if you enjoyed it. Follow me on, let's see, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff under Vacate Fear, and I will see you all very, very soon.